everyone, it's Andrew Schiffman.
Harry Turcott here. We both worked at MTV in the music and talent department in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, it was a time where music videos, TRL, The Jersey Shore, and the Osbournes ruled the airwaves.
Yes, Andrew, those are some great years. So tune in every week as we catch up with old MTV co-workers, record label execs, VJs, and artists.
I can't wait, Perry. We'll give you insights into meeting superstars before they were superstars and some juicy secrets from that golden age of MTV.
So grab your headphones and get ready to relive the era of music television and the people who shaped a generation.
And welcome to the Music Lounge. It is coming towards the end of the year. We are, I'd like to say we're winding down, but we don't really take breaks. We want to keep this going, keep the momentum going. Right, Perry? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Pardon me if I sound a little nasally, I guess. Fighting a bit of a cold today, but
Tis the season. Tis the season.
And you said winding down, but kind of not really. I mean, we've got bookings through the close to the holiday, and
In
lots
January.
of great friends and coworkers and colleagues still to come on the show. So we're
Exactly.
rolling along. But today we have a very special friend who we have known for a very long time. He is the founder and president of DLJ Video, which is a music video marketing company. Please welcome Lou Smith.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome.
Great to see you, hear you.
Welcome to our lounge.
Thank you for having me. I've been waiting and hoping that I was going to make the list.
You're always on the list.
Absolutely. Do you remember the Music Lounge?
Of course.
Yeah.
Like
Wait, he would know, Andrew. Is there still a Music Lounge?
There is.
Yes.
There is. Yes, there is still a Music Lounge.
When was the last time you entered the Music Lounge?
That's a good question. Yes, it has. Yeah. I mean, post-pandemic, it definitely got, fewer and further between all getting together in the lounge. But
still on 25, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Exactly the same. Red.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Well, yeah. I forget. Amani had redecorated it. I don't know if you'd seen that since.
That was post me.
Yeah. So there were some things changed, but yeah, the essence was still there, and that's where all the magic happens, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some great stories come from people on their visits to the Music Lounge. So, and that's what the podcast is all about. So,
and like every week's been like a mini reunion. It's been great to hear and see everybody after all these years.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been great for us too, because I haven't been in a position where I've been able to talk to a lot of these people, and when you're on the phone with them 5 days a week, hour after hour, and emails on the weekends, and shows, and dinners and events, it's kind of like you get bonded really quickly and very easily with a lot of folks, and it's this is nice to sort of reconnect with them.
Yeah. I mean, I think that time period, that both in our ages and in our career and in music, the bonds that were made during that time, it's amazing where you could go however long we've gone since all talking to each other, and it feels like yesterday.
Right. So let's kind of take a step back and talk about your introduction to the music industry. Walk us through your journey a little bit, and sort of what drew you to a music video promotion.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I started, I guess, music in college. I've always wanted to do marketing, and I was a radio DJ in college, and then got an internship at Polygram, and then was able to get a gig at an indie label called Elektra Records, which was an interesting time and label. They were kind of, at one point they had a lot of things going on, but by the time I got there, it was not so much. But so I learned a lot of good things and bad things. But I was able to, it was a bigger fish in a smaller pond, so I was kind of able to be in different departments. And I mean, music video was something. I mean, I grew up on MTV. That was I would make mixtapes on VHSs. I mean, that was like I loved it and always wanted to be a part of it. I didn't know how. I didn't, if I was going to work at MTV. I didn't. But then luckily, I was able to get a gig in video promotion at Elektra Records. Shout outs to Diane Van Horn and Larry Max and Victor Bang who helped me get over there. And I mean, it was a great opportunity. I mean, I love the label as far as the artists. So between that and working with music video, I mean, the two first videos that I was able to be a part of was Missy Elliott, The Rain, and Busta Rhymes' "Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See." So
I mean, some
Wow.
of the biggest iconic, say, videos of all time, apart from Michael Jackson Thriller, like those are the two.
yeah. So yeah, it was hard to kind of top after that, but just to be able to at least be a part of that, um, and then full circle, I'm actually working with Busta again on his latest video, as well as his son Trillion, who's also a rapper and recently put out a single and is doing well. He's been opening for Busta, and so yeah, so almost 30 years later.
Does he have
Wow.
the same tone?
No, yeah, you wouldn't like hear him or even see him and know right away. He's got his own style, but it's definitely in the genes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really you, Steve, and Noah that were
Yep.
literally
Mhm.
in the building every day. You had so many videos in the music meeting. What has really contributed to the success of you managing a successful roster of artists and clients that really helped you stay ahead of any kind of trends that were happening in the music business? Like maybe it was indie, but some really cool music that you were introducing to us for the first time. How did you
Right.
guys get to build that clientele?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, first of all, working with both of them, with Noah and Steve, working with great people helped. And we all kind of had like the same mindset.
You had your own lane as well. It was like Noah was
Mhm,
doing a little bit of indie hip hop,
mhm,
Steve was indie, and you would come
mhm.
with some really cool kind of pop stuff
Yeah,
in a way, and then you would merge a little bit.
yeah,
But
I
that
would
was
say
how I
I was in the
looked
middle of
at
both of
the
them.
three of you. Yeah.
Yeah, where I also loved hip hop and I also loved
Of
rock
course.
and
Yeah.
then pop. So yeah, I would kind of go, but yeah, everyone had kind of their own lane. And yeah, Steve would definitely bring in some of the more cool indie stuff, and Noah would come across some of the other hip hop stuff. But yeah, I mean, we also were um, honest with both the artists that we worked with, and I think with you guys. I mean, we would pick and choose like our battles. Like we may bring everything to you, but we knew, we wouldn't tell you everything is this is going to be the next, big thing. Like uh, I think it's part of it is definitely managing expectations with both, your clients, and with you guys as far as like kind of, knowing we're not going to get everything for every
Right.
artist.
But I
Um,
think you knowing the insides on how we worked because we had such good relationships,
yeah.
you could almost know, going to Yomi and saying, I think this should really be considered for freshman five or whatever,
Hmm.
because you knew his taste, you knew the programming so well.
Yep.
You really had your agendas buttoned up.
Well, it's interesting too that you kind of say, we sort of knew we weren't going to get everything. It's interesting that you say that because even the folks who worked at labels have told us on the podcast are like, yeah, we knew we weren't going to get everything when we come up with something. Sometimes it just wasn't going to work for MTV or wasn't going to work for MTV2 or MTVU. And then as MTV.com was growing, as Andrew likes to say, we were the catch-all for all of the videos in the music meeting. They're like, where can we put that? MTV.com.
Yeah, that would be, yep. That, I mean, and that was great for, for Bill, again, also being on the indie side, which, I mean, I've been doing indie promotion now for, 20 plus years just on the indie side. You know, working with smaller artists and having to go against, major artists. I mean, we would look for whatever lanes we could and want to build from there. But at the same time, we didn't look at that as like, well, that's all we got. We look at that, wow, look what we, look what we got. This is a great, opportunity, especially for new artists with, smaller stories and maybe less going on than some of the bigger artists.
And
Yeah.
you also knew not to waste our time. So if you came in
Yeah.
with an artist that you wanted to perform, you knew that was going to be something special, that, and you had a packed room too, and you probably left with more than what you thought you would come in for. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, we definitely,
any
would
examples that come to mind?
Um, I mean, just an example that I was thinking of as far as not, say, a performance, but playing a video in the room from an indie side that I really, felt strongly about. I mean, I was able to be, or I still am, an indie rep for Red Bull Records, and we brought in, also thanks to Joe Guzik, we brought in AWOL Nation, Sale. Yes, that's Red Bull. That's right, Blast. Quick plug. But yeah, we brought in Sale, and that was completely independent, rock record, and I mean, it was just one of those like undeniable, but also totally different sounds and visuals, and that we really believed in, and that we felt like deserved a lot, and we wound up getting it. I mean, that single was actually recently certified diamond,
Yeah, it's
Wow.
massive.
and for like an
Wow.
independent rock record, I mean, that just doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
I mean, that was one that definitely sticks out as like, and especially just on the indie side, like whenever you have those type of successes, it's amazing.
In addition to AWOL Nation, was there any other bands or artists that you were worked with by getting them played at MTV that helped them become much bigger, much more popular? Any stories about that?
Yeah, I mean, one that comes to mind, on the other side of genre, back to hip hop, Young Ma. Um, she had a video and single for Ooh. Again, completely independent. I had worked with the guys from Duck Down Records for years, and then they had gone on to do their own thing, and they found Young Ma, and they had sent me the video, and again, that was one of those where you first heard it and saw it, and was like, oh, this is going to be big, and we brought that in, and not only was MTV receptive to playing the video, but they also really bonded with her. She was also one of the first, as far as I know, openly gay rappers. And for hip hop, especially at that time, just that didn't happen. So that was like a really big thing. And she wound up doing tons, like what basically MTV, if they had like any type of promo stuff, they would come, and she'd be all about doing it. And we would start, small, and then build. We went all the way to doing a performance at the Woodies, which I miss. The Woodies were great. And yeah, and that, I mean, that single also wound up going 3 times platinum, I believe, and
Wow.
again, all independently. So
Did you feel like MTV was supportive of indie hip hop artists?
yeah, I mean, again, depending upon what it was, but when they got behind one like that one in particular, because I mean, that was like a local, again, that was, she's a New York, Brooklyn rapper, and it was big here. And then I definitely think MTV helped take it, nationally. I mean, again, especially also not even just the song, but again, that's where the visual comes in, where either playing the video or having her do all these different shows, people got to see her and get her personality and all of that, and that helped. I think definitely break her.
Yeah. you know, we really created ways to expose independent artists through not just playing the video on MTV proper, right? We had credit squeezes, we
Yep.
had music in shows, to use music for campaigns. I mean, there was a whole load of things, because, you know, honestly, towards the end of my time, music rotation was slim to none, so you had to find other avenues. But also, for an artist like that, you probably had exposure on 4 other networks as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, she did like Wild and Out, and yeah, I mean, she did all the stuff for BET as well. But yeah, that was definitely you know, an artist where MTV took her from just, you know, hearing her on Hot 97 to hearing her and seeing her across the country. Artists, Perry, this is one that I wanted to mention to you because, like, I don't even like. It's one of those. So when I was at Tommy Boy, is where. So I went there after I was at Elektra to run their music video promotion department, and one of the artists that we worked with was a group called the Clicks, a rock group from Canada called the Clicks.
I remember.
That's right. And the lead singer was Lucas, and I believe he was the first transgender man to ever sign to a major label.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I did
Yep.
not know that.
Yeah. And again, this is 20 plus years ago. And I remember, you know, we had first gotten them on MTV.com and everyone was excited. And then we wanted very much for them to get on MTVU. And it was a struggle. And literally, I remember Victor Bang telling me that it was Perry who stood up and said, "This band needs to be on this channel." And I just remember that vividly, being told that and being like, "Wow, that's great that, you know, to know that you had someone in your corner like that who felt strongly enough about a group and you know was able to, you know, to make that happen."
The very first logo New Now Next Awards, they performed also,
That's right.
along with Gaga and Cyndi Lauper.
That's right. Gaga's first time. Yep, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, that was
Yep.
crazy. Yeah, so that was a big show.
It was a big show. I mean, we did it in the TRL studio, which was interesting. And then, in addition to Gaga and Cyndi Lauper performing and the Clicks performing, like we had Leona Lewis on the show, had Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child on the show. I'm sure there was some people from like RuPaul's Drag Race before there was a RuPaul's Drag Race that were there too. I mean, it was crazy, like how much you could do across all of the MTV platforms with your artist. Like you could be on somewhere on MTV like 7 days a week and not repeat yourself for like weeks at a time. I mean, there was just so much that you could do with talent across all the platforms that they had.
Yeah, and that's what we would tell artists too. You know, like, you play ball. You know, you do stuff. You do, you know, because we would pitch them, right, starting with, say, smaller shows, and they may not want to do it, but we would try to tell them, look, you do this, it's going to help you get that, and then you could get, you know, you could do as much as you want. You could be on as many places, you know, as there is, and then, you know, get to the TRLs and the VMAs. But yeah, there was a building, and there was a great, you know, there was a great relationship of helping, you know, each other.
Tell us about when you got to start working with Brooke Hogan.
Yeah. So yeah,
was her dad involved?
Her dad was more than involved. So I worked first with Lou Pearlman, who
wow,
yeah, who also owed me money, but that's all. And that wasn't from a Ponzi scheme. That was just from not paying checks. But anyway,
I hope you're not holding your breath waiting for that money.
Yeah, that is. So I first worked with him with Aaron Carter. I mean, it's hard to believe actually that they're both gone. But Yeah, so first worked with, and then Lou signed Brooke, um, and then from that, she got signed to a small label based in Florida, and Sobe, and then yeah, so I started working with Brooke. I
Neat.
didn't know, how much her dad was going to be involved. But I learned very quickly that he was going to be very hands on, and I mean, he was great. This was pre MAGA Hulk, um, but I remember like asking him, "Hey, will you come, to meetings or, how do you want it just to be her?" And he was like, "No, I'll do whatever needs to be done." So I remember walking with him, through MTV, and I mean, I was able to work with like some big music artists, but I would say there was no bigger person that I saw like everyone respond to than him. It was
Did
like,
he come in to the music lounge
yeah,
with her?
hmm
Maybe I was out on that day. I don't
yeah,
remember.
yeah. Yeah, he did, and we walked through we did the entire building, and she wanted to very much be on TRL, because obviously she grew up on that, and that was not easy. Her name, while it helped her get in the door, didn't necessarily give her that music credibility. But she had a single called "About Us," which featured Paul Wall, and she made a nice video, and it started to chart the song. So, I kept going back and back and back, and first we did some smaller things with her there, and then eventually they did have her perform. You guys had her up there, and she performed "About Us" live on TRL, and it was great. I do remember afterwards us walking into the dressing room, and My Chemical Romance were there, and they were like, "What are we? Why are we on the show with Brooke Hogan?"
Yeah.
And but so yeah, that was a bit awkward, but no, but besides that, it was that was again, and that was also all indie. So to get like TRL, as was usually reserved for the biggest artists. So to get in there with an indie artist was few and far between. So when you got
Her
those,
name helped her get.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, yes,
Oh
her.
yeah.
I'm sure her music and content and visuals had to be up to par,
hmm
but that little extra push,
hmm
which we wanted because people probably tuned in because of that. Oh, who is Brooke Hogan?
right,
And is
and
her
yeah,
dad
is this
gonna
going to be a
make
train
an
wreck or
appearance?
yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's the other thing that you mentioned, like about TRL. You literally could just bump into anybody any
Right,
day that you were there. I
right.
mean, it just, you know, Brooke Hogan and My Chemical Romance one day, and then the next day it was like, Pink and Corn or something. I mean, it was just
No, it's true.
crazy the types of artists that were just and we talked about this a while ago. It just got to the point where you're just like, I don't want to say expected it, but you weren't surprised by it. You
hmm
just kind of knew that that's what was going to happen that day at TRL. Yeah.
Right. I mean, if that photo booth could talk, I mean that all the
Yeah.
people that took pictures together and randomly.
So we posted a bunch of those on MTV.com. I had suggested at one point that they do a coffee table book of all of those photo
Wow. Yeah.
booth photos. Nothing ever came of it, but
Yeah. That's
no,
a great idea. No, there was
It's
some
in our
great.
memory.
people would pay for that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But I mean, we've also said this before that when you work in that environment, you just take it for granted that that's another day
hmm
of going to the office.
hmm
And you look back at it now and you're like, holy fuck, like I was surrounded by megastars and crazy celebrities and it was just insane.
Yeah. And I even on a personal level, I had. I'll tell you a quick personal story, whether it's interesting or not. But so when I was at Elektra, I was getting engaged, and I was looking for ideas to do it. And I said, well, maybe I'll ask TRL if I can do it on there. And I remember speaking to him about it. And even back then, I was deemed too old for the demo.
Wow.
But they did say,
For a
106
proposal?
for a proposal.
Oh,
But they did say
you look young.
106 in Park is starting a new countdown show. Maybe you should reach out to them. So I reached out to our friend Tuma and Stephen Hill, and I gave them the idea, and literally they were all about it. And on, I think it was their second or third show, I brought my then fiance, who was in the audience, and they brought me on stage, and I was supposed to be introducing a video for Elektra Records on the countdown, and instead I brought her up, and with AJ and Free, I proposed to my wife on 106 in Park.
I think I knew that, but wow.
There's video
Amazing.
evidence.
There has to be video evidence, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Have your kids seen it?
Oh yeah. We make them watch it every so often.
Every anniversary. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was good to be able to use some of those relationships every once in a while to help you person.
We're going to do a bit in the podcast and see how good your memory was. We're going to throw some trivia at you.
Okay.
Which I'm sure you've heard in previous podcasts. There's no countdown clock. Just answer as quick as you can. And
okay.
120 minutes or Headbangers Ball?
Oh, Headbangers Ball.
What year did 120 return when I started programming the show on MTV2?
Ooh, I'm supposed to answer this quickly. I'll say 2003.
11.
I wasn't even
Yeah. Which comedian, and you've attended probably every VMA in the last 20 years or more.
Yeah, 96 was my first.
All right, here we go. Which comedian has hosted the VMAs not once, but 3 times?
I mean, I'm
was
hoping
it?
Oh, Chris Rock?
There you go. I was going to...
He was the best. I mean, he broke the mold.
Yeah, I was going to give you Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, Russell Brand, or Chelsea Handler. But yes, Chris Rock. Do you want to take a stab at the years?
Ooh. I'm not good with... As you see, I'm not good with years.
97.
Okay.
99.
99, I remember, yeah.
And 2003.
Okay. Yeah, I remember one was with the Van Halen reunion, which was at Radio City, and that was one of the best ones. Not to mention all the, those were the after parties in Bryant Park where everyone would go. And it was one party, every artist, every label, all there. It was great.
Yes. MTV's live series Icon featured Metallica in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
During the band's medley performance, what new song did they perform during this medley?
Goodness, I am going to be in so much trouble because I know
you're a big fan.
Band.
That's why
wow. Shoot, is it the Mission Impossible song?
Which was?
Oh man, I'm going to get so much shit for this.
All right, I don't know if it was Mission Impossible. Could be. Song was called.
Disappear. Oh no.
Frantic.
Oh, Frantic. Oh wow. Okay.
You got it. All right.
Yeah.
Here's a bonus question to make up for that. They introduced a new bassist a few months prior.
Trujillo?
You got it. Bonus question.
Thank you for that.
A double bonus.
Yeah.
Name a band Robert came from before Metallica.
Oh my goodness, I should know. Oh, Flotsam and... No, that's Jason. Ozzy.
Black Label Society.
Black Label Society, but yeah, he also was a bassist for Ozzy, yeah.
But bigger than...
Oh, bigger than that.
Well, his main group, Suicidal...
Oh, Tendencies. Yeah. Steve's going to give me a lot of shit for this.
All right. As we look back at 2024, who's attended more shows, you or Justin Prager?
That's so funny. Because
I would say Justin.
We go back and forth. I would say Justin, too. He likes to say me. We actually did just go to a show together last week. And
Wyatt Flores?
What's that? No, that he went to with Steve. Okay. We actually went to Creed and Three Doors Down, which was a very
I saw him post that.
Interesting show. But I
uh,
did tell him, I did get contacted by TikTok, who sent me an offer to start going to some shows and sending them some content. So
oh,
Wow.
I told him I
how much is
may.
that worth?
No, the money isn't, but yeah.
You can
Speaking
boost
of
your
which,
profile.
yeah, and just yes, my
Yeah.
love
All
of
right.
attending
So
shows.
Justin might have you for shows, but who has run the most miles? But
Yeah,
you.
I think I have them there. I mean, I've definitely done more races,
Yeah,
but
yeah. All right. Two more.
Mhm.
Who hosted this past year's Video Music Awards?
Ah, my goodness, I'm
Literally
so
2 months ago.
no, when I was there.
You were there with your son.
I'm so bad with this.
Female rapper.
Houston.
Oh, Megan Thee Stallion, yes.
Yes. Okay. And from that same show, LL Cool J performed the
Did a
Def
medley,
Jam 40th anniversary medley.
right?
Can you name 2 songs that he performed during that medley?
I mean, Mama Said Knock You Out, Doing
Yes.
It. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Going back to Cali, Rock the Bells, Bring the
Yes.
Noise with Chuck
Yeah.
D,
Which was
Flavor
great. The whole
Flav.
medley was great. That was great.
Yeah. Very cool. I think you did good. You did good.
Yeah, my Metallica card is going to be taken from me though.
I know.
And I love that icon. That was a great show. Limp Bizkit actually does an amazing Welcome Home Sanitarium tribute, actually. So
Yeah.
check that out.
When we look at music videos and the age of streaming today, how has your strategy changed and evolved for breaking new artists and any big challenges that you see for music promotion in the streaming era?
Right. Yeah, good question. Yeah, I mean, streaming definitely, has created challenges and also opportunities. I mean, I think, part of it is, music in general, as far as like attention spans of this younger generation, is harder to get them to even, watch a whole video. So, you're seeing, obviously, that's why things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts becoming more popular. So, I mean, I still see that as like a gateway into discovering artists, but I still think it's important for there actually to be a full visual of a song so that people can get to know the artist more and see what they're about and become more connected to them. I mean, we still, we still go and work with the traditional networks like MTV. I mean, they've branched out now to, to Pluto, which you could watch both online and smart TVs. They still have MTVU and MTV Live. And then, obviously Vivo is very important. And they still have their playlist thing and other things you could do within the Vivo platform as far as having artists involved with performances and interviews and even bringing them in, similar to like the Music Lounge,
Right.
bringing them in to either perform or to meet the staff and get to know everyone and get, build relationships there. So, I mean, there's definitely different ways. I mean, it's all about still building impressions and connecting the dots. I mean, we still, service videos to retail pools who still play videos in bars or gyms and places like that. There's other OTT providers that, again, are playing videos on smart TVs and things like that. So there's still, I still believe in music video. I still think it's an important part. You just have to keep looking for new ways for people to see them. And I think that still builds, I think anyone could hear a song and like it and then move on. But I do think when they do see an artist and see a video, that helps build more of a loyalty to them and hopefully, they'll go to a show or stream the music and all that.
So for any independent artists that are listening to this, in
Mhm.
your company and your role, it goes beyond just placing a music video on air. So what kind of marketing strategies do you also offer your clients as kind of part of a package?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think similar to what I was saying as far as having the relationships at these outlets where you can, because I mean, there's so much out there, right? Just similar to like people sometimes have the misconception of, oh, I just have a video and I put it on YouTube. But what's going to separate, you from the millions of other videos? It's people, companies like mine that are going to be able to bring you to the Vivos and the MTVs, where they can do more for you and help, elevate you, whether it be putting on playlists or performing somewhere, or just being on, one of their shows or platforms, so that you can be more connected to
Right.
your audience.
And also help them with that strategy, that how can this one video live a life of 6 to 8 months, right? Like, what
Hmm.
is the plan that you can help them develop when you're going to Vivo or to MTV, and what other content is around that video? Did they have a making of? Are there any behind the scenes? Are there any exclusive photos? What do the lyrics mean? Episodes, stuff like that. So um, I'm sure there's lots that you can help an artist kind of strategize, so you can come to these platforms with more than just a plan. You know what the artist has, what they're willing to do. It all kind of helps.
Exactly.
Any recent successes in the last year or two with an artist that you want to kind of share with us?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely been fortunate. I mean, we talk about building relationships. I mean, when I was at Elektra Records, that was in '96. I had met Jill Weindorf, and she wound up being the GM at Concord Records, and she's been my longest client, where I've been music video promotion person for Concord for the last 20 plus years. And I mean, we, again, a very independent label, and we've been able to, break artists like Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats with SOB, Revivalists. Uh, we recently had Killer Mike, which was a huge, win for us last year. I mean, he won a ton of awards for his album, and again, doing it independently. When you have to still, especially these days, like to be able to cut through, it's huge.
Um, Getting near the end of our conversation. It went by very quickly. Thank you, Lou. But before we go, we ask everyone this question. Um, what is your favorite current or past New York City concert venue? And can you tell us about the best show you ever saw there?
Right. I knew this question was coming, and I kept thinking, I kept trying to go through my head as to, like, it's so hard because, as you point out, I do like to go to a lot of shows. Um, yeah, I mean, if I think New York, I mean, even if though it's cliched and been said, I mean, the shows at MSG, um,
That's not cliche.
right?
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a special building, and there's been so many amazing artists that I've seen there, including yeah, Metallica, who I remember their symphony performance there was amazing. I mean, I remember well, not most recently, but I mean, I saw the Foo Fighters do their first show post pandemic, when it was the first arena show. I remember it was Father's Day of 21, and that was, an amazing experience. I mean, to finally get back to like a full house, and everybody was just, and they opened up at times like these, which was like so fitting. Um, that was amazing. I also think back to a show that people, I think, forget about, which was Michael Jackson's 30th anniversary, which was on September 10th, 2001. And that was an amazing show, and I remember the next day wanting to like tell everybody about it, and then obviously the world changed.
They're not interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
But and then they did their tribute to 9/11 show, which was another amazing show there. One of the best shows I would say I ever saw in New York was I got to work with Paul McCartney on Concord. And just a quick little story there. So he wanted very much to have his video on MTV, which I was told, which was like crazy to hear. So I remember trying to think of like what Paul McCartney and MTV at the time, what could so first just threw it out there, would he come in, and that wasn't possible. But he said he would make a personal video to both MTV and VH1 talking about the video and the project. And I remember playing that at a meeting there, and everyone being like, totally into it and totally loving it, and wound up adding a Paul McCartney video in the 2000s.
Wow.
Did he throw in people's names in
Yes,
the video?
he did. I would forget now what names, but I remember giving him, a few names if he should feel like it. I remember their eyes, like, yeah. So
I'm sure.
he was, I mean, and obviously he didn't need to do that. But then also on that, so to go back to a show, he wound up doing promotion for that show, like a 500 person at the Highline Ballroom.
Wow.
Yeah. And which is now I think Racket. And that was the first and only time I saw him. Oh no, not the only time, but first time I saw him, and in that venue was crazy.
I think I saw him at City Field.
Yep.
When the script opened up or something. I think that was the show. I can't remember.
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say Brooklyn Paramount is a new venue I've recently. That's an incredible building.
I know.
Holy
I have
shit.
to go. That's on my list.
Oh, have you been?
I have not. Yeah, Steve and Justin were just in. I told them that. Yeah, that's on my list.
Yeah, I went to see Fontaine's DC, but yeah, incredible venue. Yeah.
Well, and I think didn't I reach out to you about Gallagher? Weren't we? Didn't he do a show there? We were going to go.
I think I was out of town, right?
Yeah.
Missed that.
But I know you'll be there next year.
I have tickets, yes.
Yes.
In London and in New York.
Well, and I will say, I do feel like, I know you always talk about New York, but being a Jersey guy now for 20 plus years, I do feel like I have to give a shout out to a New Jersey venue. So the Stone Pony.
Yeah, knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Which I think this is their 50th year anniversary.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, that between being inside the Stone Pony seeing shows and even their summer stage, I feel like is just an awesome place to see a show. I mean, I think you recently had John Frank on who was talking about Highly Suspect, and I remember we worked with them as well, and seeing them along with the Struts there was a double headline bill inside the Stone Pony, because it was before either of them had broken. And yeah, Struts and Highly Suspect, and it was just like an amazing, just gritty, loud, obnoxious rock show.
Yeah.
Wait, and have you guys? I forget. I've listened, I think, to all of them, but I forget. Have you guys said yours?
I think we bring up a venue or a band in every episode. Yeah, I mean, I love MSG. I love Bowery. I think I saw the XX at Mercury Lounge one year. Like some of those small, intimate venues where you can really just get arm's reach from the stage, or stand at the back and you feel like you have a good view. Those are.
That's sort of
really
how
I
felt about Roseland. I mean, I know that other people had their issues with it, but I liked Roseland because you're always seeing it was big enough that you felt like you were in a crowd of people, but it wasn't so big that you felt like it wasn't intimate with the artist. So I really enjoyed going there.
Yeah, I've seen some great shows at Webster Hall. Block Party I saw there. The Good, the Bad, and the Queen, which was Damon from Blur's side project. That show just blew my mind. I saw Cage at Webster Hall downstairs.
Oh
Cage the
wow.
Elephant.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I've seen some great shows at Terminal 5, and a lot of people bash Terminal 5. But if you're at the front on the balcony
Mhm.
on the actual railing,
Mhm.
or if you manage to just suck it up and go down to the pit. I
Right.
saw Kasabian there, Supergrass, some really cool bands. More to come.
Mine's gonna change every time we have a conversation with a different guest. So
Yeah. Well, that's
As it
I
should,
mean that's
as
the
it
great
should.
part of being here.
absolutely.
Yeah. Soon it'll all be taken over by Oasis in Wembley.
That's right.
So,
I'll have to settle for MetLife.
those are my
but
predictions.
yes.
I'll be there. Yeah. Hey, that'll be good. With Cages on the bill there too.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, when you said Cage, that's what I thought of. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get to see Richard Ashcroft in the UK, who I've never seen before.
That's awesome.
Solo or as the Verve.
I actually did get to see Duran Duran at Wembley, so that was awesome. But that was my only show.
Wow.
But yeah, I hope to go back.
Cool. All right, so let's wrap it up.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. We greatly appreciate it. Lots of
thank you.
good stories.
Thank you guys for having
reminiscing. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, happy holidays, but the world will hear this at the top of 2025. So Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. Yeah, also big shout out to Susan behind the scenes. You guys have been doing a great job. And thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I look forward to it every week.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you, Lou. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for joining us today in the Music Lounge.
And tune in next week to hear more stories about your favorite era of MTV.